Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die, they stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for support if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
To open. And you look at it, we see prime examples that we're supposed to be ready before this happens. The parable of the talents. They were ready. Two of them were ready. The one that got 5 and the one that got 2, they went and invested theirs. They were initially given each according to their own abilities. So whatever level they were at, that's how much money they were given to start with. I need to adjust this. This is bugging me. There we go. So it was already an indication of the skill level that they had, but the guy didn't have any skills, went and buried his under a tree, and then he had it taken away from him and given to the one that had most. The parable of the minas, same thing. Some of them knew what to do with the money when they got it, and they took it and increased it, and then their reward was cities. This is much bigger than just money, but the skill sets are severely lacking. I don't have any indication about timing about certain events. And when people are asking that, I think they're missing the point. I get people who email me all the time. What date do you think this is going to go off and that's going to go off? You're entirely missing the point. It doesn't matter if it goes off because essentially what you're holding is a lottery ticket, right? You're waiting on something to increase in value. And when it increases in value, if you do not have the financial education and you have not been putting in the work, like your subconscious knows, are you reading the books? Are you getting better? Are you developing? Are you equipping? Yeah, Rita's got it. Equipping us for a greater purpose. If we're not being diligent, if we're not being faithful with our little, if we're not being diligent, the hand of the diligent will be made rich. How many people in the wealth transfer haven't been diligent ever in their life before? But yeah, you're going to go crush it as a billionaire. I don't think so. Donnie, I think this is speaking to a lot of people's situations. I was talking to somebody today doing a one-on-one coaching session, and it was like, I gave an incredible prophetic word to this person, and I could see it in their face. They're thinking like, really? Why me? And it's like, you have to stop thinking that. Like, God has clearly chosen you because he's equipped you for the thing that he's calling you for. So when you're sitting there saying, why me? Like, you clearly doubt you and you clearly doubt God. So how do you fix that? Well, you need clarity. And I believe I'm called to put together this community of people for both before the wealth transfer and for after. But I have this vision in my spirit of after the wealth transfer happens, and you have these people that are growing, that have been equipped, and that are having doors open for them all over the place. Like I believe millionaires are going to start coming into this. I believe billionaires are going to start to come because I'm the guy that's been anointed with the vision for this. We have to go take back nations. What does that mean? Essentially, we have to go disciple all nations. But what that really means is discipling people. But that starts from places of influence because it's actually, people think like, oh, you just have one encounter and then somebody comes to God. Yeah, that's how some people come to God. But for other people, it's a process, right, of influence in society. And essentially Christians have just left it up to the evangelists being like, well, they'll go win all the people. It's like, what about the impact on society we're supposed to have to prime these people before they even get to the evangelists? Like there just needs to be a total renewing of the mind for people in the wealth transfer You have to change how you think. And really, what my group is doing is looking to shorten people's learning curve so that what takes some people 18 years, ideally we can do in 19 months. You think. And if 80 to 90% of the thoughts that you think are the same from one day to the next, and you're thinking, okay, money alone is going to change my situation. Again, then why are the lottery winners going broke within 3 to 5 years? These people don't understand how to generate cash flow because they think like employees. They don't think like investors, they don't think like entrepreneurs, and they don't think like business owners. Why? All they've ever been is an employee. They haven't put any time into reading any books about investments or investing. They haven't spent any time thinking about how to be a really good high skill entrepreneur or how to delegate or how to run businesses. And so people are like, yeah, I'm going to take over CNN. Really? You've sat on the sidelines for 6 years, haven't had a job, haven't worked anything. Like, what in your history suggests that you have the skill sets? David's a perfect example of this. David is anointed king as a kid. And I figure when he killed Goliath, he couldn't have been any older than 15 or 16. Maybe not even older than 15. So he gets anointed king. He's killing lions and bears with his bare hands, protecting the sheep. And then he walks onto the battlefield where Goliath is. And because he's already taken on the lion and the sheep, the lions and the bears, Goliath is nothing to him because he's faced bears that stand taller than Goliath. So he's like, no problem. I got this. He was equipped ahead of time. People are supposed to be equipped and prepared ahead of time. That's why Solomon asked for wisdom, because he was king at such a young age, and he knew, I'm not really ready for this, so I need wisdom. You can ask for wisdom, but now that you're aware that you're needing to put the time in to actually get proficient and to actually grow and increase. And I think one of the best places is to be in a like-minded community, because after the wealth transfer happens, like, where are you going to have people who understand what you've just gone through? Because for the people that really make it, they're going to have put in the time, the effort, they're going to be growing, they're going to be developing, they're going to be getting better. And you're going to need a place to talk about your experiences and bounce ideas off of people who are actually at the same level that you are. Where are you going to find that? What are you going to do? Post something on the internet? Hey, I'm a billionaire now, and I'm looking for friends to do a small group with. So, yeah, hit me up, bro. That sounds really smart. There was even something, attack of the poverty mindset. Well, we have to attack the poverty mindset. There was something in Proverbs 10 that I was looking at the other day, and it was talking about the good side of being rich, like the benefits of being rich, and the downsides of being poor and in poverty. And I'm like, okay, so Solomon, the richest or the wisest guy, well, probably I'm the richest, whoever lived, is saying being rich is good and poverty is bad. But you want to bash people for the prosperity gospel. If you hate the prosperity gospel, what you actually hate is God's very nature, because God in his nature is prosperous. He causes things to prosper. God didn't hate money, not at all. But if you look at our world today, how many broke people do you know that actually have any sort of influence? Because I don't know many. Look at the businesses and who they're owned by. Look at all these things. Look at the 7 mountains and look at who they're run by. There's incredible wisdom that's poured out every Thursday. Actually, there's 2 different levels to this. So we do big group calls on Zoom on Thursdays, the first and third Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And myself and a couple other people mainly share on those calls. And just it's sharing the process that God is having me go through, because I believe I'm going to be a billionaire. actually more than a billionaire, but there's a process that God is taking me through, and I'm sharing the experience that I'm having to help others cut down their learning curves. And then on the second and fourth week of the month, on Thursdays, well, until we get more small groups going, we do small groups. So it's groups of up to 15 people, and we share about our experiences and the growing part of this. And it really, it's to help to share wisdom, to cut down the learning curve of the people around us. So if everyone brings a thought that nobody else in the group has thought before, we all have that thought, and we didn't have to spend, potentially 100 hours before we came across that thought. Or if somebody's got a really good book recommendation, they share that in the group. And I've had lots of those. That's why the rich are getting richer. I'm like, the chapter on fan income alone could save people like hundreds of millions of dollars potentially, or more. Right? It's like knowing where to focus your attention, but also think about this. One sets 1,000 to flight, but two sends 10,000 to flight. So what do Zoom calls do that have 30 or 50 or 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 people on them, who are all functioning in this frequency of being intentional to get prepared? Like, it's an amplification that happens. It's an amplification of frequency. And Christians don't like to talk about this stuff, it seems, because, all we need is Jesus. But it's like, well, how exactly do you think that when two come together, they can send 10,000 to flight, but one sends 1,000 to flight? Like, clearly there's a multiplication that's happened. So what do you think the multiplication was? Every one of us gives off an electromagnetic frequency from our body. You can measure that with scientific equipment. This is not a new thing. And actually, this ties back to the verse about letting your light shine. For years, I wondered what this meant, and God showed this to me. Letting your light shine is actually about your soul being lit up because you're happy, right? I was either Peter or Paul. I pray above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. People will be like, yeah, he was just talking about going to church. I don't think so. Going to church, then why are so many people so miserable? Well, they're not in line with the calling that God has given them in their life. And yes, church is supposed to be a part of it. But as long as we're here on earth, there's more to it. You have a calling in your life that you're supposed to be walking in, that's supposed to make you influential in society on some level, right? We're a body and everyone has a job. But you can't have a body if you only have 10 parts, right? The body's made of so many different parts and muscles and tissues and all different things. And it's like, people, there has to be a collective awakening. I don't think the rapture's coming soon. And even if it is, the instruction that we were given in the parable of the minas was occupy until I come. The master said that. And in another translation, it says, do business until I return. He didn't say to throw up your hands and give up. And actually, I think this is the point in time where the Bible's referencing, like, there are wars and rumor of wars, but this is not the end. People are like, well, that happened in history already. What if it's the same cycle playing out? And Satan's really trying to get people to give up. So if people just give up and don't have any influence, and they basically say, okay, God pours out a wealth transfer, right? But so many people are in survival mode that they just go build these survival camps all over America, and they have no influence in society because they feel that they're supposed to go hide out in the mountains. I promise you, what God's going to do is he's going to take the wealth from those people and give it to the people that are still participating in earth, like on the earth. We were never told to go hide and build survival shelters and camp out and be away. We're supposed to go make disciples of all nations. Well, how are you doing that from your mountaintop compound? Like, you're not going to have relationships. Nobody's going to listen to you. Hey, Pamela, it's good to see you. So that's why, like, I keep coming back to my group for like-minded people. Like, if you feel like you have a significant call on your life and you think like, well, I must be crazy. You're not crazy. You're just around people who don't understand the process you're going through. So come join my group to be around like-minded people. Well, Matt, I need more than 2 weeks a month. Like, you do the big calls on the first and third week. What about the other weeks? Then join a small group. It's $249 a month at this point as I'm doing this video, but by the time you watch this, it might be higher to join a small group. And people are like, well, I don't have the money. Ask for it. You've spent more than $97 in a month to go to Chick-fil-A. Tell me I'm wrong. If you're struggling with coming up with the money, like, you've sold crypto, you've done all these different things to buy all these stupid things, but when it comes to investing in yourself, like, you won't spend $25 to buy a book. So maybe it's a rearranging of where your priorities are and where you're actually putting your money, but also having this revelation inside the wait, there is no lack because God provides all of my needs according to his riches and glory. So there's that level, there's that level of preservation. Like, how many of you have starved to death on here? Clearly nobody, because you're all alive. So if nobody on this call, on this live stream has, and I'm not making fun of this, I just, like, we think wrong, right? God has promised us, I will meet all your needs according to my riches and glory. That's one level of living, right? Where God is just constantly meeting your needs. And really, whatever you think your needs are, that's what he'll meet. But then there's this level of thriving that is really based in creating wealth. God has given you the power to create wealth. So somebody asked me earlier about a particular crypto and when I think it's going up. I think you're missing the point. If you really believe that God has spoken to you about a particular investment, it's like, why are you sitting on the sidelines just waiting for that investment to go up? If you really believe in it and you really feel like God's given you a release, why are you not asking God for you to help you make more money to be able to invest more? Like, that's the mindset I think people should have. It shouldn't be this, well, I need this in order to have money. That's not true, because that's not biblically accurate. Unknown, you're missing the point. Somebody posted that it's easier to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. You're missing the point. Okay, well, I'm just going to block you. There's nothing wrong with being rich, and there's nothing wrong with having influence. It depends where your heart is at. The problem with the rich young ruler, when he came to Jesus and asked him, how do I follow you? If he really thought, okay, here's the difference. A rich person has a lot of money. A wealthy person understands how to create more money. So when you have a rich person, when a person is just rich, okay, they have a lot of money, but they do not have the ability to create more money, or they don't believe that they have the ability to create more money. Whereas somebody wealthy, they believe that no matter where they go, they can just create more wealth. That's why when Abraham was dealing with the Philistines and his sons were dealing with the Philistines regarding the wells, they didn't care if the wells were stopped up or taken over. It's like, we'll just go dig another well. Right? There was never this lack mentality of, oh, well, this is it. And this is the problem with a lot of people in the wealth transfer too. They think all I get is one shot, one investment, one thing. I only get one thing. And as soon as I get that one thing, that's the only money I'm ever going to get. That's actually a trap that people get into. And then they think they're limited to this one investment or this one thing. And that's why, again, lottery winners go broke, because they don't understand how to make money. They're rich, but they're not wealthy. People need to think about how to become wealthy, how to become resourceful, how to generate income, how to take what they have to make money.